So in the last session, we discussed about one particular read operation, or you can say the fetch operation, fetching the data from database in Hibernate. Fetching the data from database in Hibernate. And what we were using here, we were just using the create query method where we have to provide a string query and session contains this method. So we will execute this method using session. So session dot create query, which takes a string, and generally this query will be in the form of HQL. It takes the HQL. And what is HQL? Hibernate Query Language, which is a object-oriented query language. After this session, we'll call the create query method over this HQL, and this create query method returns a query type of interface. Now there is a beauty of this query interface that directly it has a list method. What it has? It has a list method which will return you the list of your data. Now this data can be of any type. It can be of type book. It can be of type employee. It can be of type student. Okay. So this data can be of any type. However, we are writing two words from the query, that is from book. Even if you have a particular thing in the mind that this is Hibernate, why we are writing the query. So there is a substitute of this in which we will not write this thing also, means no query. But you will find that method difficult than this. So let's see what is that method. So let's understand one particular thing, how we will fetch the data without writing any query, or you can say how will we fetch the data using criteria API. Fetching data in Hibernate using criteria. Actually, before Hibernate 5.0 version, Hibernate 5.0 version, it used to provide us something as criteria API. Even I'll show you that. So it used to provide something as criteria API till less than 5.0 version. But after 5.0 version, this particular thing has become criteria builder API. Instead of criteria builder, it became criteria builder API. Now, what is this kind of change? So let's say if the version is 5.4.2 and Hibernate has changed the criteria to criteria builder. Criteria to criteria builder. Then which version will get updated here? 5, 4 or 2? Why? Why so? Support your answer. Why 2 will change? Because it is a patch level change. It is a patch level change, renaming change. So what they did, they said that criteria API is a approach or a concept and we will use criteria builder to achieve that. So they made a difference between criteria and criteria builder. So version updated like this. So let's see how we will do it. Criteria builder API. So whenever we are discussing about this one particular term, that is criteria builder API, and one more thing, when we are working with criteria builder, you will find it difficult than HQL, but it is just a part of Hibernate, so we can discuss it. So we can write that in Java, criteria builder is a part of Jakarta Persistence API, JPA. So this criteria builder is a part of Jakarta Persistence API. Earlier it was Java Persistence API. Now we just call it Java or Jakarta. Both you can call. There is no problem. Java or Jakarta Persistence API. It is specifically used in it is specifically used in criteria API. Why we use criteria builder? We use it in criteria API to create type safe dynamic queries to fetch the data from database. What do you mean by this type safe? We'll discuss it. So at first we will create a normal project, Maven project, and next archetype as quick start. Package name is com.criteria. App name is criteria project. कुछ बोलना चाहूँ जी, हमने दीद करावो जी, क्यों तरसावे हो, खाना से पहले दिखाओ जी. So here we got this project. At first we will add the dependencies in this. So in the digibook project only, we have all the dependencies. Spring framework dependency is not needed. We just need Hibernate ORM dependency and MySQL dependency. We'll just copy it and paste. And we got all the jar files as well. Now, many of you are getting problem in the hibernate.cfg.xml file. So no problem. Again, you can focus here. You have to create the file here, src main java. This is your class path. Class path means if I am creating any class in my project, I will create in Maven dependency, src, target. No, all the class you will create inside this src main java folder. Inside that you will have lot of packages. So don't create your file in any package. But if you are creating in any package, then you have to write the complete path also. Just for an example, your project structure is looking like this: src main java. Now this is called your class path. Inside this, let's say you have a package com.book, com.digibook, and then you have created another package com.digibook.entity. Whenever you are creating the hibernate.cfg.xml file, make sure that whatever file you are creating should be equivalent to all the packages. Now there is option that your Hibernate file, you right clicked on your src main java and created your file. So whenever you are clicking on this src main java, I will show you. I will right click on src main java, new, and file name is hibernate.cfg.xml. Now you can see that this particular file is equivalent to my package. It is not inside any package. What if I am creating more packages inside this using the base package? No problem, create dot entity. Now this hibernate.xml file is equivalent, means it is not inside any package. It is directly inside src main java. Now, if your file is your Hibernate file, hibernate.cfg.xml, if your file is equivalent to all the packages, means it is available in class path. Then the path of file is very simple. src main java is accessible with slash. Whenever you are writing a slash, means you are talking about src main java, and then your file name. So hibernate.cfg.xml. Just suppose one case that you have written your Hibernate XML file inside this com.digibook.entity package. You can create like this. So just guess, take a case, your hibernate.cfg.xml file is inside this com.digibook.entity package. Then what will be the path of your file? So at first you have to write slash. Slash means you are talking about src main Java, because the grandparent of your file is still src main Java. Then you have to write the parent path. So slash means src main Java, then com slash digibook slash entity slash hibernate dot cfg dot xml. Hibernate dot cfg dot xml. Now in this case, this is your path. So I hope now you will not have this problem. Hibernate.cfg.xml. You can do it here. And even I will tell you the second method, right? So that this file is not required. So anyways, we have created our file here and we need the configuration of this file. So why to waste the time? Already we are having the configuration of this file. Just copy paste. If you focus here, what we are doing, show the DTD. It is visible, right? At the top. Or you want to ask from where I am copying this DTD. Show the DTD means it is visible here directly. You can check it. Lucky, yesterday also you asked the same question. Okay. You have to go to your Maven dependencies folder in which you will get all the jar files. Now these jar files are nothing. Let me tell you what are these jar files. I hope you have worked with packages where you in core Java you might have seen about rt.jar. Worked? rt.jar, runtime.jar. It's in core Java topic. Now what is this? Let's say I have created a class for myself. There is a class of Shivam. There is a class of Shivam. Now this class of Shivam, or let's say I have created a package com.trainer. I have created a package com.trainer. Now this trainer teaches React. So there is a React class com.trainer.react. Then this trainer teaches com.trainer dot, it teaches Spring Boot and microservices. Com.trainer dot Python, no, Angular. So something like this. So these are the three classes. Now they have some method like that void, teach React, teach Spring Boot, teach Angular, like that. And this trainer is not only a trainer, it's a developer also. Then com dot developer dot ml machine learning, com dot developer dot apk Android apps, com dot developer dot websites, develop websites also. Now there are two different base packages, com.trainer and com.developer. But we are talking about the same person. Same person is a trainer also and the same person is a developer also. Now when we are talking about the same person and packages are completely different. Let's say in.developer, in dot developer and this is also in dot developer. Now nothing is common. So you cannot say that base package is com. Now what we will do, we will create a jar file. What we will do, we will create a jar file of all these classes. And when we are talking about jar, what is the full form of jar? What is the full form of jar? It's Java archive. Actual word is archive. You can say it archive or whatever you feel like. But actual word is archive. Java archive. Java word we can understand that it is related to Java. What do you mean by archive? What do you mean by archive? Archive is a word. Archive means to store something as a single unit which can contain multiple things. Which can contain multiple things. Not only in Java, we have the same example lot of places. Let's say you have purchased three kind of fruits. You have purchased mango, you have purchased apple, and you have purchased banana. Now, quantity wise you have purchased, so you have purchased 5 mango, 5 banana, 5 apple and 12 banana. Like this you have purchased. You have only two hand. If you are carrying one so filled, right? So what you will do, you will combine them in a basket or a polythene or a bag or any kind of thing. You will combine these three different things. Now you just have to hold this bag. You don't have to hold mango, apple, nothing. You are holding this bag now. That is the word archive. Archive means something that you are using as a singular unit, but it has a lot of different thing inside. Whenever, let's say I am coming with my bag. Now my bag has my laptop, my charger, my lunchbox, mouse, lot of stuff it is having. But what I am carrying with me? Bag. Same way in programming, we call these things as archive, that these are the archive files related to Java. That's why we call them Java archive. So what I did, I just created a rt.jar here. And this rt.jar is nothing, collection of multiple packages. Runtime.jar. बोला है क्लास के बाद करो यार कॉल तुम नहीं हो यार तुम लोगों को यार rt.jar runtime.jar. So what I did here, this jar file of com.trainer and in.developer is accessible by something org.shivam. Just an example that you have to call this Shivam package. It will automatically give you the service of trainer and a developer. Same way we use programming jar files. The same way we use programming jar files as well. Now, when you added the Hibernate core jar file, it means that whatever service Hibernate can give you will be inside this jar file, one jar file. I will open this jar file. Inside this, lot of packages are there. org.hibernate. A package will contain multiple classes. So in org.hibernate only, you have multiple classes, multiple interfaces, and you have multiple packages as well. So what I will do, we'll check how many packages we have here. So when you are adding the jar file of Hibernate, you actually got, oh, so many. We are just selecting. Now, so we got around 345 different packages. Now just consider that each package has 10 class, means 3450 classes for Hibernate. And what you are using? One jar file. So it's like same. Instead of importing these files one by one, just import a package of Shivam. Hire Shivam. He can do the both services of trainer and developer. So in the same way, we use jar files for this purpose. Now within this jar file of Hibernate, we are getting lot of packages. The very first package is org.hibernate. In all the jar file, you will have one parent package. You can say base package, as all the packages are extending this only org.hibernate.action.internal.action.spi. So this org.hibernate is the root package, or you can say base package. Open this. Inside this, annotation, exception, assertion, failure, base session, cache clash, lot of things. In this only, scroll down. And here we got Hibernate hyphen configuration 3.0 DTD, right? You have to open this Hibernate configuration 3.0 DTD. When you open this DTD file, it will provide you the document type definition of Hibernate. This one, right? This is the doc type Hibernate configuration. Just copy paste it. Okay. So we'll just go back and same database I will use, DigiBook, same username, same password. We will not create any table. So HBM to DDL dot auto none. Query, yes, we'll check query. Now there should be one class as book. Of course, the package is different. So what I will do here also, I will create the same package, or you can change in the file, or here you can change com.library. So the package name I have converted as com.library, which is having the main class app.java. Here only in the same package, I will create my book class. Book class. And the code of this book class, same like last time. How many fields were we were having? Same field now also. No change. Okay, that's it. So com.library.entity, the package is com.library instead of com.library.entity. And in configuration also, the package name is com.library.book. Okay, configuration is done. Now we will try to invoke our Hibernate. Okay, so here what we will do, configuration of Hibernate we will do here. Configuration of Hibernate. As we do have one configuration class, configuration cfg equals to new configuration, importing the configuration class from Hibernate, then saying cfg.configure. The path as hibernate.cfg is directly available in src main java. So my path will directly start with slash and file name. So hibernate.cfg.xml, and like this we'll do. We'll start the application once. So we'll start. So we got this. Okay. Now what I will do, session factory we need. So I will create session factory sf equals to cfg dot build session factory, and session factory we should import from org.hibernate. Then we will create a session. So session equals to sf dot open session. And then we will bring the transaction. Transaction tx equals to session dot begin transaction. Okay. So we have done all the things. Now, in this project, we will try to fetch the data using create query method. So at first I will create a query that is string HQL is equals to from book. From book. It's not case sensitive by the way, but for the class name and table name, it is case sensitive. So what we are writing here is string HQL equals to from book. Now we will use the session method that is create query. Create query. And in that I will provide the HQL which returns a query. Okay. And now this query interface has a method that is list. So q dot list. So that you will get a list now. List of book, books equals to q dot list. You got the list. Now you can use any loop or something to print the books. We are just printing b dot book name only we will print. Already we did this thing yesterday. So here we got Wings of Fire, The Power of Subconscious Mind and Atomic Habit. So we got all the 3 books from here. Now there is a problem, not a problem we can say. Here we can say one particular thing, that why we are writing this 2 line of query. Even though it's a good technique to write this query, but if you don't want to use this query, then how we will fetch the data from database? So let's see how we will fetch. Fetching the data using criteria builder. Fetching the data using criteria builder. So let's understand. Fetching the data using criteria builder. So the very first thing we should check, what is this criteria builder? So this criteria builder is a interface as first. What is this? It is a interface provided by jakarta.persistence.criteria package. So the very first thing, this criteria builder is a interface. What is this? This criteria builder is a interface. So I will mention the steps here, that how we will fetch the data using criteria builder. So in the very first step, we need a criteria builder. At first, we need a criteria builder because it is an interface. So there should be a class which is implementing this or some method like that. So at first we need criteria builder object. So what I will do, I'll show you the session. We have session interface, this one provided by org dot Hibernate. inside this particular interface, okay, let's check it outside. So what I will do in my project, the very first step, I will build the criteria builder object using sessions method. So the session has one method and the method name is get criteria builder. So session provides you one method and the method name is get criteria builder, like this. So let's create. So here what I will do, I will say criteria builder CB equals to session, already we are having here session. So session dot get criteria builder. So what I did, you can import this criteria builder from jakarta.persistence.criteria. So in the very first step, you have to create the object of criteria builder and session has a method for it, that is get criteria builder. Now this is what you got. You got the object of this criteria builder. Now here you will be seeing one create query method. Are you seeing this create query method? This one, create query, create query. So like this. So in the next step, even I will write the code here. So that is criteria builder CB equals to session dot get criteria builder. And in the next very step, so in the next very step, what we will do? So this criteria builder is giving us one method, that is create query. That is create query. And what is the return type of this create query? Criteria query. So the criteria builder has one method and that method is called create query. Create query whose return type is criteria query. So now we have to do this. So in my app.java, it is throwing some error. Where is the error? No error. So here we have created the criteria builder as first. Second is I will say cb dot create query. cb dot create query. And you have to use this second method, which is taking one class, that whose result type you want. So here I will say cb dot create query book dot class. cb dot create query book dot class. And what is the return type of this? The return type of this is criteria query, right? Criteria query. And if you check carefully, this criteria query is also taking the type of data T. So what is the type of data? Book. So criteria query of book, you can accept it any variable, that is books. So criteria query books equals to cb dot create query. Now whenever you are done with this part, creating the criteria builder and then creating the query, after this one particular step, this criteria query also has one particular method. or you can say one particular, what can you say, that approach. This criteria query is also having one particular thing. I'll show you. Select. This is also having something as multi-select. This is having some method like again multi-select based on the type of data. Then where means here you can write the conditions where having order by distinct get order list. So like that you can do in this criteria query. So we have written that, and here the code we will write that criteria query of type books is equals to cb dot create query book dot class. So it means that you are creating a query on this particular thing, book dot class. On this class you are creating your query. Once you are done with this particular part, and here we got something as books, or here you can say query also, so that there will be no confusion. So there also I will write query. And this criteria query is also having lot of methods. It is also having lot of methods. So I will do something like this. Query dot from, query dot from book dot class, query dot from book dot class. So same way we are actually for breaking down this HQL from book, we are doing all these things. At last we are creating the same query, that query dot from book dot class. If you check carefully what is the return type of these things. Generally they return a type of root. What they return? The return type of that is root. This root is also a interface. So after, whenever you are running this query, query dot from, the return type of this particular method will be root. Root of, again it takes t, book, root equals to, you can import the root. So in the next step, what we are doing, confusing, right? Criteria query is having this create query, and whenever this create query method is executed, then criteria query is having one from approach. So here we'll say criteria query has one approach. You can say method as well, or method as from. So we will write the same thing. So root it returns root of book, root equals to query dot from book dot class, like this. And at last when you got the root, you can use this query to return you the select. So it has one select statement, right? Select. So here only it has one select method. So in the same way, after creating the root, now this root contains the word. What word? From book. You have to do these many things. Now at last, whenever everything is executed, whenever the everything is executed, I will call my session. So to my session, I will say session dot create query. Last time also we were doing the same thing to fetch the data, session dot create query, but last time we were providing the HQL. This time we will provide something else. So again I am calling the same method, session dot create query, but this time I will pass this criteria query, that is query by. Now this query will directly generate a method that is get result list. So what will be the return type of this particular method? List. So here I will say list of books equals to session dot create query. After creating this root, you have to write one more thing to this query. You have to say query dot select root, so that from keyword you have attached here and book you are attaching, select statement you are attaching here, then you will get the list. Now you can print it, book B in the books list. B dot get book name. So like that we can do. We'll just start the application. And here we got the book name. So I hope HQL is very easy, right? You can use HQL as well. So one or two words there we have to write. If we are totally dependent on classes and interfaces, then these are the confusions that we have to face. So whenever you are trying to think about it, that what we are actually achieving in which particular step, if we are doing criteria builder, what we are doing, then using that criteria builder, we are creating a criteria query. Then using that criteria query, we are creating a root, and then using root, we are writing the final query, that is from book. But we are calling that it is type safe. We are calling it type safe because there is no particular thing for spelling mistake. Last time you can say like this also, that from book, now you will get error. But in this case, list book line, this one, okay, so let's say now what we are doing here, at last session will fetch your data. So to my session, last time what I was saying session dot create query, and I was passing the string HQL. What I was doing, I was passing the strings HQL. This time I am not passing SQL, but method is still same. So session dot create query. This time I will be passing the criteria query, that is inside this query variable, like this. But this is a criteria create query. Now inside this there is a method, you can say sub method, that is get result list. So what I am doing, I am doing the get result list, so that this criteria query is giving me the result list. Now as the return type become list here, you can accept it in a list of type book in a variable books. So like that you can store and you can print as well. Okay. So in the next some of the step, you have to do these kind of things. that query dot select, so that it is writing the select query, select asterisk from in book, and then you can use the object of query to execute it. So that is how you will fetch the data from database using criteria builder. It's way tough than HQL. HQL is very super, very simple. But here it becomes a little bit of difficult. But that is how it works. Get criteria. Okay. Second thing, how to save image kind of data or image data in database using Hibernate. So I think I have already told you about something as base 64. That base 64 is a method to convert your images into their bytecode. What it will do, it will convert all the images to their bytecode. Bytecode you can say, hash code you can say here. So like that you can say. So base 64 is a method of converting images to text in simple terms, and reverse is also possible, means vice versa is also possible. Text to image, image to text, both you can do. There is no problem. One example also I have shown you, that go to your browser and search base 64 converter. Go to this particular website, select your images, whatever image you want to select. So let's say this one, and encode to base 64. Now whatever text you are getting, this is the base 64 code of your image. And this is nothing, just a character array we can say, or byte array we can say. Here a lot of bytes are there. So the same way we will have in our Hibernate also. So now let's try to do. Same project I will choose. Okay. And this part I will comment out. And we will create one more class. And this class is like, you can say, any class like student. At first, I will make this student class as an entity, so that Hibernate is creating its table. And now I want Hibernate to create table. So HBM to DDL I will make as update. This student is having something like private int roll number, private string name, and this student is having one more field. So this roll number is the ID, primary key. This student is also having a private byte kind of array, and then field name is img, image. What is this? A byte array kind of field I am creating, byte array. And as this is not my normal text, this is going to be very big text. I have taught you some of the annotations. What is the annotation that we use to store images? Lob, at the rate, lob. So over this field, I am writing that it will be a lob type of data. So very simple, that's it. Now what we will do, we'll just generate the getter setters. Here we will use one concept of exceptions. And now I am getting one question. What is checked and unchecked exception? Exception, checked and unchecked. Loudly, I can't hear. Normal thing I am asking. Compile type and run type. Checked exception and unchecked exception. Because we will use that concept here, so I got the question. Anyways, checked at compile time. Checked must be handled. So what we will do in the hibernate.cfg.xml, we will map our student class so that Hibernate is creating its object. So com.library.student. We'll just save and start the application. We'll just start the application. So it has created the table. And if you focus on the description of table, so roll number is integer, not null. Image is tiny blob. Image is tiny blob. So how this conversion is going on? I am saying to Hibernate that I will give you large object. What I will give you? I will give you large object. Lob means large object. And Hibernate is telling that, okay, copied. I will store it as a binary large object because I don't understand what is image, right? I don't understand what is image. I understand only text. So we are using the same database DigiBook. Inside this, we have got one student table. Images of type tiny blob. Images of type tiny blob. And now it's getting interesting. Let's see how we will do it. So at first, I will copy paste one image into my, let's say this bus image, or let's say this waves image. So just copy and I will paste this image inside my class path src main java. I am choosing this folder as it is the easily accessible folder, right? You can easily access it. Now let's go to app.java, where what we will do, creating the object of student class. So that is student s equals to new student. Okay. Now s dot roll number is 1. Okay. Set roll number. S dot set roll number as 1. S dot set name is Srikar. Image we are not setting because we can keep this field as null. So image we are not giving as of now, but later we will give. So what we are doing here, we will ask our session to save the S, and then we will ask our transaction TX to commit. That boss, it's the time to be committed. And then session dot close. Session dot close. We'll start the application. And it has written the query that insert into student. And here in database, I will write query select asterisk from student, and we got roll number as 1, image as null, and name as Srikar. We are getting. Now what I will do, I will delete this data. So I will say delete from student where roll number equals to 1. Okay. So we have just deleted this data because now we will add the image. So till now roll number we have given and the name we have given, and it is the time to set the image. How to do exception handling, or there is one exception, input output exception in Java, right? There is one input output exception in Java. So that is checked or unchecked? Checked exception or unchecked exception? Input output exception. Checked. Do you know the meaning of checked or unchecked or not? If you don't know, I can explain that. You know? Forgot. Then I will not explain if you forgot. So here, how to read a file in Java? What is the class? How to read a file? Sorry? How to read a file in Java? Very good. File input stream. I think online peoples are using internet. File input stream, FIS equals to new file input stream. So like that. Okay, let me just explain about exception. There is no need to worry here. So at first, let's just quickly understand what is this exception first. So let's say you have a daily routine of doing some work every single day, Monday to Saturday. You have a daily routine, and your routine like something like this, that every morning at 6 a.m. you will wake up. Every morning at 6 a.m. you will wake up. Then till 7 a.m. you will be done with your morning activities and you will have shower and you will be ready for having your worship time or whatever is your schedule. Worship time plus breakfast. So in this time you will do your worship and breakfast. And at 8 a.m. in the morning, what you will do? You will take your bike and you will drive to academy. You will drive to academy. Now this is your daily schedule. Every single day, Monday to Saturday, this is your schedule, that every single day you will wake up at 6, you will have worship and breakfast at this time, and then at 8 a.m. you will start to academy by your bike or cycle, whatever, and then you will reach academy at 9 and take lectures till evening 5 6 and whatever the time is. Every single day this is your schedule. One day what happened is, your when you started at from your home at 8 in the morning, around midway your bike got punctured. What happened is your bike got punctured. Now when your bike got punctured, can you reach the Naresh IT KPHB building on time? So the answer is no. You cannot reach the building on time. The reason is you have occurred with a unexpected event. Now bike got punctured is a very unexpected event. No one expect this, that okay, today my bike should got punctured so I will be late. No, no one will expect this. So you got one unexpected event. You got one unexpected event. And because of this unexpected event, your next schedule is got disturbed completely. You will not reach academy on time. All the classes will be late till evening. Or it is possible that you got stuck and you are not able to reach on time. So whenever one exception is coming, this is exception. Why we are calling this exception only? Because this does not happen daily. It's a once in a while thing. So when you occurred with this exception with the unexpected event, so this particular situation is called exception. Now, what is checked exception and unchecked exception? So we'll just say you one thing. Whenever you are starting to academy, and academy has a strict rule that no entry without ID card. Just consider that academy is strictly applying this policy, no entry without ID cards. Generally, whenever you are joining a good IT company, it is the policy that you cannot get entry without ID card. You have to have your ID card with you, right? And Flipkart has very bad policy in this. They don't allow. Watchman will ask you, who are you, if you don't have ID card. Even if he is watching you daily, he will ask, who are you? So no entry without ID cards. Now, when you were starting from your home at this 7 a.m., your mom or the someone who is reminding you, they said that, do you have your ID card? Have you kept your lunch box in the bag? So they are reminding you about some of the event. Your mom is saying that, have you kept your ID card with you? Otherwise, they will not allow you. Have you kept your lunch box? So your mom is reminding you about something that is called, mom is having that one particular nature. It will check the problem. Now, mom will say that, okay, go carefully today, your bike will get punctured. No, mom cannot check this event, but she can check about your ID card. Have you kept your ID card with you or not? Have you kept your wallet or not? Have you kept your lunch box or not? These are the things that are checked by the mom. So this is called checked exception. So the exception that compiler is checking, the exception that compiler is checking before you are running the program are called checked exception. Just an example for it. So what we will do, we'll create a program here. Very simple. Public class main, public static void main string args. And inside this, what I will do, I am just printing system dot out dot println. I am printing 45 divided by 0. 45 divided by 0. And now this 45 divided by 0 is a mathematical problem. Even mathematics is not able to give the answer of this question, that you cannot divide by 0. Now this is the exception, that you cannot divide by 0. Let's say how Java is treating this. So I opened the command prompt. I will compile my file. I will say java c main.java. No error. There is no error in this particular file. Not even a single error. Why? Unchecked exception. Compiler will leave this. Compiler will say, all okay, boss, you can proceed. But when we are running the file, at that time we will get this exception that you cannot divide by 0. Arithmetic exception. So arithmetic exception is a unchecked exception. So compiler is not giving you any warning. So this is the accident, bike punctured case, not accident. Same program I will write like this, that file input stream FIS equals to new file input stream. So what I am telling to Java, that in my C drive, there is a file hello.txt, right? We can open any file, we can read any file using Java like this. So I am saying file input stream, that there is a file in my C drive hello.txt, And this file input stream class is given by java.io package. So we'll import java.input output dot file input stream. Same program. We will compile this program now. Java c main.java, and at compile time only we are getting unreported exception, file not found, must be caught or declared to be thrown. Now compiler is giving you warning that that you are trying to find a file in your C drive, hello.txt. What if this file is not present in C drive? What you will do? Handle the exception here. So compiler is giving you warning, array, handle this exception. Now you can either write here that it throws the input output exception. You can write like this, that this main method can throw input output exception, or else you can handle it using try catch. You can handle it using try catch. I got one thing using this try catch. How many of you handled the exception in the project? Done? Working fine? So what I did, I just wrapped the code inside try catch. That's it. Exception E, and we are not doing anything in catch. So now I will compile the file, that is java c main.java, and this time no exception. So compiler was checking it internally that array, you are trying to find a file. It can give you some exception, handle it. So you can handle it by using throws keyword, and try catch finally block also you can do. Same thing we are doing here now. Now, whenever we are doing this file input stream, I will give the path of my image. So the image is in src slash main slash java. Here we will write the full path because it's a dot jpg file, and the picture name is waves dot jpg, and I'm doing this, and still it is throwing error. Error is unhandled exception. Compiler is telling that array, this particular part can give you exception, handle it. So what I will do here itself, I can write that it can throw input output exception. I can write in this way that it will throw input output exception, right? Like this. And now here we are not getting any error. You can do try catch as well, by the way, or else you can use the throws keyword. So this is checked and unchecked exception. Understood now? Don't forget it, because I will ask in Spring also. So here what we are doing, we are trying to load a file from using the file input stream class by giving its path. It will load the image. It will load the image. After loading the image, I will convert this entire image into its base 64 value, which is a array of multiple characters. So here I will say that there is a byte array whose name is data, whose name is data, equals to new byte. Generally we have to provide the size of the array here. Int data equals to new int, and then size 24, 25, like that. But as of now we don't know what will be the size of this image. So here I will say something. What I will say? I will say FIS, whatever this file is having, FIS dot available. What I will say? FIS dot available. So there is one, it's in from core Java file input stream. So FIS dot available. Now whenever we are doing this, it will be converted into this byte array, and then we will say FIS dot read, and here it will read this data array. Now file input stream will read the byte array. After that, you can say s, where s is the student. So s dot set image data, because data is a byte array, and in the student the type of this image is byte array only. So we are doing this s dot set image data like this, session dot save transaction dot commit. Hmm. So there is problem, file not found exception. Okay, so let's try to fetch it directly with a slash. Now you are telling when we got error. Okay, sir. So now you are telling when we got error. You could have tell it when I am writing the program. So it has written the query that insert into student image name roll number. After that, somehow we got some problem that data is too long for column image at row 1. Could not execute statement. Data too long. Maybe this image is of very big size then. So let's check the database if we are getting any data here. So no data. What is the size of this image? 250, 2064 byte. Okay, so we'll decrease the size, means we will select a small size image. So let's edit this one only. 62 KB. Let's decrease more. By the way, we can store any size. For that, we have to use something else. So now just very small size image. The size is 3 KB now. We'll just copy paste the same image there. So we'll execute the program again. Bah. Insert into student, again same error. I think data too long for column image at row 1. Okay, wait for a minute. We are not setting the image. We will check the data. How long is this data? Stop talking. Wait, we'll just check the length of this and then we will execute. Okay, got it. Stop talking. Actually, we are asking our normal session to execute this. What we are doing? We are asking our normal session to do this particular part. And here our session is a normal session. At the top, we'll see here our session is a normal session. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So whenever we are creating our session, sf dot open session, this sf is the session factory. Here we will write something like sf dot, we can, okay, then no, there is some other problem here. Current session configured. Wait, wait. FIS dot available, then FIS dot read. Wait. Wait. Actually, same thing works. Either there is a update or something like we'll just check it. Same thing we are doing. There is some other problem. Blob not null. Same thing, but there is some problem. Oh, private byte image. File input output stream we are getting. We are just debugging it. Something else is there. Everything is correct in this code. Okay, no problem. We'll see it tomorrow. If there is any other problem that I am missing, but I am not missing anything, as the lob class is also giving the implementation in the same way. I'll just check it and let you know. Otherwise, code is same only. We'll do it in this way. Either there is some configuration problem or any problem in the Hibernate version. Maybe we are using 6.5.2, which is not supporting the lob now. We'll check that and let you know. Okay. By the way, code we will not change. Code will be same to store the images. There will be no change in this code. We'll see this tomorrow now, how to store the images in database. Fine guys, we'll connect again tomorrow. You can drop the calls and you can leave.